Without further ado, I will get the ball rolling. Okay. That, right there. What was that? Why do we roll our eyes in annoyance? And while we're at it, who decided that blinking really fast was a thing we do for flirting? And what's the deal with blinking in general? Allow me to explain.
Buzz.
Blinking is a very useful thing that we do that promotes health in a variety of ways. And yes, I know that Doctor Who taught you differently.
Don't blink. Don't even blink. Just for the record, I think getting your eyelids removed for the premiere was a poor decision. What are you, some kind of casual viewer?
The question of why we blink is more complicated than it at first seems, so we'll tackle it from a few directions, namely physical health, psychological health, and sociological health. Physical health is probably the most obvious of these. As you might imagine, blinking is useful in protecting the eye from outside elements. Blinking also keeps the eye lubricated by spreading a thin layer of liquid across it every time we blink, keeping it all moist or whatever. This is the simple explanation for why we blink. But we blink far more often than is necessary to serve these functions. We could get away with blinking just a few times a minute if it was all about lubrication and eye safety. But instead, we find that the average person blinks about 15 times a minute, or once every 4 seconds. Interestingly, factors such as the female birth control pill, Parkinson's disease, and schizoaffective type symptoms have all been shown to affect this blinking rate. And the blinking rate changes throughout a person's life as well. Infants, or itty-bitty babies, blink at a rate of only about 2 times per minute, which is why we might feel like they're always staring.
Here we see the baby, all swaddled up like a giant burrito. Notice the enormous captivating eyes. Those are designed to melt your heart and make you forget that babies are insatiable poop monsters.
And at about 300 to 400 milliseconds per blink, a person could spend a full 10% of their waking hours with their eyes closed. These facts are all clues that there might be some hidden psychological health benefits to blinking. So what else is going on here? As it turns out, blinking may serve a very similar purpose to sleeping. In sleep deprivation experiments, in which scientists try to keep participants awake for very long periods of time, people are often reported as taking extended blinks lasting over a second called microsleeps. The weird thing is that if you're sleep deprived enough, these microsleeps can take place without your conscious awareness. You might believe that you were awake, even though your brain fell asleep. Does this look familiar?
Mr. Guildenstern, are you sleeping at your desk again?
No. I was awake. I swear.
Then you won't mind telling me the answer to my question.
11?
This is French class, Mr. Guildenstern.
12?
But that's an extreme example. In an ordinary blink, the brain appears to take a quick rest from focusing. Think of a blink as a split-second daydream in which your brain relaxes its attention. And when the brain snaps back after you finish blinking, your eyes tend to refocus on the most important thing around you. Why does this happen? The leading theory is that it assists us in switching our focus from one thing to another. This theory is supported by the fact that we often blink predictably, such as at the end of both written and spoken sentences. When the sentence changes, the topic usually changes, and we blink to rest and then refocus on the new idea. And being able to change focus quickly is a healthy psychological skill, whether you're spotting an approaching threat or trying to multitask in a dangerous situation. So there's the psychological explanation for blinking, but how do we use blinking sociologically? Well, we humans communicate a lot with our eyes. Some researchers say that the eyes are more important than the shape of the mouth when it comes to reading emotions. When researchers compared the appearance of the human eye to the appearance of other primate eyes, such as chimpanzees, they realized that the human eye has the most noticeable expressions in terms of white space and readability from a distance. The theory is that humans evolved highly advanced ways of communicating non-verbally using their eyes. This would help explain why a relatively large portion of the brain seems to be dedicated to detecting facial expressions. This highly sensitive area of the brain is the reason why we sometimes see faces in areas where there aren't any, like how a power outlet looks like a shocked little face, or how buttons can look like eyes. This high sensitivity for faces, and eyes in particular, is a very healthy skill for humans to have. After all, being quickly able to communicate with each other is one of the reasons why humans pretty much have the run of the earth. And it isn't just blinking, of course. Eyebrows, eyelids, eyelashes, and muscles in and around the eyes all play important communicative roles. Just think of all the ideas you can get across just using this part of your face.
I can't quite remember. Oh, well, hey there. That was a dumb thing to say. Oh no, I left my fly down. I hope nobody noticed. Are you going to finish that burrito?
And along with facial gestures, people also communicate using eye decorations, such as eyeshadow. Eye decorations have been used to show status and draw attention for thousands of years, dating at least as far back as ancient Egypt and ancient India. These eye movements and decorations have a language all their own, and just like spoken words, these meanings have changed over time. For example, batting your eyelashes today is typically thought of as a flirtatious gesture used to show someone that you're interested in them, probably physically. But it might surprise you to know that in ancient Rome it meant the opposite. Ancient Roman women batted their eyelashes as a sign of purity and chastity. Pliny the Elder, a famous 1st century philosopher, believed that excessive, canoodling would cause your eyelashes to fall out. And so by having long full lashes, you could prove a chaste sort of innocence. Innocence and eyes are still related on some levels today, but we certainly don't think of pretty eyelashes as denoting chastity anymore. Rolling your eyes is another great example. Today, rolling your eyes is typically meant as a sign of disagreement or annoyance. But interestingly, this meaning has only been common for a few decades. Before that, and especially in ancient history, it was associated with, you guessed it, sexy times. And if you rolled your eyes at someone back then, that would be taken as flirting with them in a very obscene manner. Or, it could also signal ferocity and insanity, like you would find in a slavering, charging wild animal like a bear.
It's a bear! Ah!
Oh yeah, screaming in terror. Real original.
Oh no, it's a sarcastic bear! Ah!
The lesson here is that meanings we take for granted are subjective, even the ones right in front of our eyes.
Hey everyone, check out my new ask.fm account if you have questions, comments, or topic ideas to share with me. It's at ask.fm/ARTexplains. Or hit me up in the comments below. See you next time!